Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your boys, Steve Straza, Sean McLaughlin. This is the Flow Show. We missed you last week. Steve, the construction zone, give us an update.
We're getting so close, but I was just telling you offline that we just keep adding stuff. You know, they come here, they make your house nicer. You're like, oh, wow, this is lovely. Can you do this too? Can you do that? So it's kind of evolved into a bigger situation than it started as. And that's
You know,
okay.
I can't think of a clearer indication that it's a bull market that you keep adding new projects to your house.
Basically like rebuilding the house from scratch over here. This doesn't happen in bear markets, I promise you. Doesn't happen in most bull markets either.
This is how you know it's been a good bull market. That's for sure. So so hey guys, this is the Flow Show. We missed you last week. We're back. And for those of you new here, this is a show where Straza and I, or where Straza brings some charts to the table, some things that he's got his eye on, some setups that he likes, and we look into them and see if we could come up with a creative options trade to express that thesis. Sometimes usually we do, but we don't always come up with a trade, and sometimes there's just nothing there. I don't think that's going to be the case today. But hey, it's an opportunity for you to kind of get a sense of how we come up with ideas and how we work through putting trades on, and it's both educational and maybe a little entertaining. I mean, that's for you to decide.
I think we're pretty entertaining most of the time. I think
Well, I mean,
Sean,
we're both pretty damn handsome, so that helps.
I think that's why most of the people tune in. And then
Do
they
we,
get a
do we
little
need
value.
do we need to address your tan situation here live for all the girls or for all the females watching the show?
I feel like my face is extra shiny today. I was just outside. I may or may not have been sweating a ton. But yeah, no, I got a nice tan. I played a lot of golf this weekend.
For those who don't know, Steve Straza lives in Key West, so it's permanent summer, it's permanent vacation where Steve Straza lives.
I was really taking some losses out on the golf course on Sunday.
You know, when it comes to the game of golf, I took one giant L this year. All my fault, totally shit the bed, but I did not make it onto a golf course in the entire calendar year of
And you
2024. I'm ashamed of myself.
and I invited you to at least one round at Portfolio Accelerator, so you have no excuse. And you were
Yep,
doing so good during the pandemic.
I
Like,
know. Pandemic, I was playing every week. It was great. I had the golf course to myself. I mean, maybe that's what it was, Straza. I really just
yeah.
liked having the golf course to myself.
And you know what? You know what's underrated too? People are not going to like this. Golfing alone.
It's
Golfing
amazing.
alone is just awesome. So good.
Yeah, I had this like
You're
little 9-hole
meditating.
golf course near my house, and during the pandemic, I would go first thing in the morning. I'd go at sunrise, really early. I get out there at like 6 o'clock a.m. I'd be the first one on the course. There wasn't even
Smells
the
good at
staff
that
wasn't
time
even
of
there yet.
day. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
the
the staff
morning
wasn't even
dew.
like they got to know me, and they're just like, yeah, you get on the course. You don't need to wait for us. You could pay on your way out. Like
Just
they didn't
go.
even care. It was great.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a nice vibe at a club. They're a little tight over here. A little tight.
Yeah, I imagine.
Uh,
All right, people didn't want to hear us talk about golf, even though we could talk about golf for hours for sure.
There are some analogies there to the market, but we don't have to do it. We don't have to do it right now. I think it's important that we dive in, but we start with background. We start with context. David Lundgren, both of us love him. One of the best morning show guests we have. Every time he
Yes.
comes on, he gets me thinking. He's that kind of a guest. So if you didn't watch the show this morning, go check it out, at least the guest segment. David was talking about how we're going through a massive corrective phase here in December. And
Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more.
some people in the chat were like, what is going on? What are you talking about? This is not the stock market. This is the NASDAQ 100. This is a handful of stocks that drive a basket of 100 stocks. You know what else isn't the stock market, Sean? The S&P 500. You know what else is definitely not the stock market? Your leaders right now, this is the Magnificent Seven. Well, that's mega cap growth. Here's MAGs. They're making new all-time highs like day in and day out. Here is the stock market. This is the equal weight S&P 500. Let's zoom in. This is December for most
Wow.
stocks. Okay. This is literally the beginning of December, right up here. We've been down every day. The tape has been dominated by sellers. We have closed below the open every single day of December for the broader market. So this is a correction within the context of an uptrend or a bull market, which is exactly where we want to step in. So I think we have to pick our spots selectively here and maybe not buy the ones that are extended, buy the Apples or the Metas or the Googles. They've made a move. But I think the rest of the market is so ripe for entries. So we can really go anywhere today with this.
Yeah, Straza, this is a really awesome news here because you and I on this show, we don't take victory laps very often. In fact, I don't think we ever do. But we've been off for 2 weeks. I don't know if you remember, but 2 weeks ago, Straza, the
Apple,
trade that we
Apple,
arrived at was a
Apple.
bullish trade in Apple. And the bet was that heading into the end of the year, how perfect and how poetic would it be for all the biggest name stocks to just totally rip into the end of the year? And look at what Apple has done in the last 2, 3 weeks. I mean, kudos to us, buddy. We nailed one. I love it. We don't take victory laps here, but I mean, it
Yeah.
just feels good to get one
So
just so plainly right.
so that was here, Sean, and it felt like a tough trade at the time. This was Tuesday, 26th, right? It felt like a
Yeah.
tough trade, but this thing just took off.
It felt like
Actually,
a
no,
tough
Tuesday,
trade.
December 3rd. So it was right here, but still, I mean, we
Yeah.
got in after the breakout. I remember us saying that. Like it would have been more ideal if we entered the day before. Look at this thing go. So
Well,
fantastic.
you're right. It felt like a hard trade. And the one sour grapes I have about this trade is the strategy, at least the strategy that I employed was I was going to enter 1/3 of my position on that day. And then
Mm.
I was going to leave resting orders to buy in, the second and third piece at lower
You got a
prices. Well,
third.
guess what? I never got a chance. The thing just
You got a
ripped
third.
from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's right.
I wish I had a bigger position, but you can't complain about a winning position that never took any heat, right?
Mega cap growth, the biggest stocks in the market are dominating. They're getting chased into year end again. How pronounced that is for the next 2 weeks, I don't know. Maybe they moved a lot of it forward, it seems. I think, Sean, you just put a bull call spread on the only one that's not working right now. Here's Nvidia. I think if you're not getting long Nvidia for some sort of a trade here, you're crazy. It's just an easy catch up thing. But didn't you do a bull call spread here?
No, I don't currently
You
have
didn't?
an Nvidia position, but you've piqued my interest.
I mean, this is the same thing. This is the same theme that we've leaned on for trading these Mag Sevens all year and even last year, where when one or two of them isn't working, and you look at the other five or six, and they're all making new all-time highs, you say, "Hey, let's get into the one that's not working for catch up." Remember just a couple weeks or months ago when we were like, "What's wrong with Tesla? All the Mag Sevens look so good. Look at Tesla." Well, look at what Tesla's done since. There was a moment or a period of time earlier this year where we were looking at Apple and saying, "What's wrong with Apple? Like,
Yep.
Apple's got to get off the ground here." We were drawing this earlier this year for Apple as a top, right? And it wasn't at all. It wasn't a top at all. Apple dug in, rebounded higher. I don't think Nvidia will be any different. And frankly, if you were gonna put a trade on, it's happening now, right? Because you want to buy the hook here. This is the shake, okay? Today is the shake. And we touched VWAP, which I love from Yen Yo-Yo Day. So that's a
The
huge
yen
VWAP,
yo-yo.
right? Comes down, tags WAP from the Yen Yo-Yo Day. And if this turns out to be a big hook and we shake and rally from here, I mean, I think all day, NVIDIA into year end, this is probably the best of the Mag 7s to own.
I
Planning to go here, but if you want to go here, I'm good with it.
I mean, yeah, this you caught me by surprise with this one, and yeah, I really love this idea of the failed break, the failed Head and Shoulders, the kissing of the VWAP off the August lows.
Yeah.
I mean, and all the other, like you said, all the other Mag Sevens, all the big caps are going. Why not Nvidia? I mean, I don't even think we need to make this a long-term bet. I mean, even like we just go out to
Oh,
like March.
yep.
Um,
I like it shorter, actually. Give me that juice.
Yeah. Let's see here. I mean, I'm just spitballing. I'm looking at like what let's see. Because there's a
And
lot of juice. There's a lot of
and
juice in these out of the money calls. I mean, geez, I'm looking in March. Stress, this is gonna blow your mind. The 164 calls in March, That's the strike that has a 25 delta.
Wow.
That's 35 points away from here.
Yeah.
And they have a 25 delta. So I mean but basically in short options parlance, that means that options markets are pricing in a 25% chance that Nvidia will get to 164 by March.
All right. So let's measure up legs. This is what I do when I say, can a stock do this? So off of the August lows, the August 5th lows, just from August 5th to August 19th, 42.5%. Then they sold it right back off. Look at this wave, right back down, back into the base. From September 6th to the high, not even the all-time high, the October high, 42% again in a matter of what, October 21st, September 6th to October 21st, a month and a half. So, Sean, I think it's doable. I think it's more than doable. Look at the wave from the April low to the June high. So this from April 19 to, let's say, the closing high, June. So 2 months, 77%. I think it could happen. I think they're expensive for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is good. I'm looking at, I think I want to do a bull call spread here only because, we could sell
Yeah.
some juicy premium far out of the money.
Yep.
And I think let's see here. I mean, my goodness, we could buy a March 140, 170 call spread. So it's a $30 wide spread.
Mhm.
We could get it for under $7 right now. And when I buy bull call spreads, I generally don't want to spend more than a third of the width of the spread. So this is a 30 wide spread. The most I'd want to pay for it is 10. If I could get it for
Right.
under 7,
That's pretty
and
solid.
this stock, if it gets the all-time highs, I mean, we're looking at potentially a full value of the spread. So we're looking at a potential,
30.
tripling of our money.
More.
I like this. I like this a lot. We might even
And
be able to, I mean, if we want to be a little bit more aggressive, let's see, where is it?
you know what else,
Pretty,
Sean? You get an earnings report in there as well.
I
And
love
have
it.
you heard what Nvidia does when they report earnings?
We can even stretch this spread out even a little wider, go 40 wide. So buy the 140s, sell the 180s,
Oh, I like that.
and we could pay under $8 for it right now.
I
I
like
love
that
it.
even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Okay. Hey,
you can go what? So you can go 5x on that. 8
potentially,
for,
yeah.
for a 40 spread? Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we get one of those classic Nvidia earnings reactions, I mean, we could be at all-time highs in an afternoon, no problem.
I love that. I think those sound more expensive than they actually are. Based on just these waves that I've outlined. I mean, this stock just since May, 77%, 42%, another 42%. The up waves are really real for these guys.
Well, the nice thing too is that we don't even need Nvidia to make an all-time high for this trade to work out to
No.
to yield some kind of profits. We're just talking about like it'd be nice if it went through our short strike and it went above 180. That would be awesome. But we don't need it to do that. If this thing just pops, even if this stock just threatens to join the party like everybody else,
Yep.
I mean we could double our money in this spread pretty quickly.
I love that. And I think it's starting to happen right now today. They
Yeah.
tried to knock this thing down this morning, right? They sent it back for the VWAP kiss, like you pointed out. Now we're wicking a little bit, paring back those early morning losses. If this candle flips green today, I think you're crazy not to put this kind of a trade on. You need some
Yeah.
sort of exposure. Even if you're long, say, Nvidia common stock, like as a primary trend kind of vehicle, trade this as a kicker on top of it. It's set up so nicely. Sean, this is the pattern we've been going back to over and over and over again this year. Just leaning in the direction that these tops will fail has rewarded us over and over and over again. And now you have the market leader, the poster child of this bull market, giving us this beautiful setup, while the rest of its peer group, the Mag 7, is just absolutely raging higher. If they're going to leave Nvidia behind, I don't know. Maybe Nvidia is a fraud after all. I think that's what it will take for this to be a top. I just think it's crazy that this thing tops out and rolls over here while the rest of the
Well, you
market.
know what? I just thought of a second reason why I like this trade. Well, more than a second reason, but here's another thing that I like about this trade is that in addition to putting us in a position to make some money,
Yeah.
I also view this trade as really valuable information for the bull market going forward. I'm writing a piece that's going out later today, and and I actually talk about how the semiconductors as a space in general, if that rolls over, that could be really bad news for the stock market in general. Not saying we're going to the bear market, but it could just mean that the bull market is really going to start changing character soon.
Yep.
And Nvidia's, the top dog, right? So if this one doesn't work, yes, I'm going to lose some money on the trade, and that sucks. But more than that, it's going to be very valuable information for how we're going to tread going forward.
I like the way you're putting that. It's almost like if this trade doesn't work, if you don't want to put this trade on, you're almost making the bet that the bull market's over. Think about it that way. If you don't think this is the right trade to put on, do you think we're turning here and a bear market's coming? I think that's the bet you're making. If we lose Nvidia here, what does that mean?
Yeah. So, there's value. I don't know how to say this right, but there's value in having trades on the books, maybe even just small trades in your portfolio
Information value,
for
yeah.
information because you'll pay attention to them more if you have a position, right? If I don't have a position in Nvidia, then I may not notice when it rolls over, and then I may be a little late to getting that information. It would have been very valuable to me. But when I have a position on, then just automatically as a part of my daily process, I'm looking at the position. I'm just seeing where it's at, what's going on. So, even if I just put like a super small position on here, like, a third of my normal size, hey, that keeps me engaged. And I like that from that point of view, but I'll do a normal size position here.
I love this trade. I think this is like I was talking to Patrick about it on Spaces earlier, and we were saying like this one is almost like too good. You know what I mean? This is almost like one of those like this is too good to be true almost,
Yeah.
which does scare me.
All right. Well, we I think we took this a different direction than you wanted to go, but
No,
I think it's a great trade.
I'm in. Let's go. And this is semiconductors on a relative basis, right? So if we're right on this trade, then this is probably not a top either, and semiconductors resume their leadership. I think these are the right bets to make.
By the way, I wanted to finish your thought earlier. You had mentioned about how,
Golf.
trades like this sometimes can be a nice kicker. I enjoyed your piece on the blog this morning about kicker trades. That was really good. Well done. People, if you haven't read that, go to allstarcharts.com and find Straz's blog post today about kickers. It's great.
Thanks, Sean. We love the juice around here. We do it for the juice.
We love the juice. Somebody spikes the punch pretty often around here. That's why we love it so much. All right, everybody. This has been the Flow Show. He's Steve Straza. I'm Sean McLaughlin. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know if we'll be back next week. It's a holiday week. It's a weird week next week. It's Christmas Eve next Tuesday. So I don't know. What do you think?
How does this happen so fast every year? I'm just checking my calendar now.
Yeah, Christmas on a Wednesday is really that screws so much up.
Yeah, no, we're not doing the show next week. I'm going to be in a car.
Okay, so no show next week. Shoot, we might have a couple of weeks off because then following Tuesday will be New Year's. Well, maybe we'll do New Year's Eve. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think Thanksgiving is too close to Christmas, and there's not enough time in between, and somebody needs to do something about this. Somebody needs to change this.
I mean, I get why Christmas is on September December 25th every year, but can it be like more like Labor Day? Like they just put it on a Monday every year, so we have a long weekend.
Really? Yeah, I'm not against that. We should move Christmas.
Like Thanksgiving, right? We have Thanksgiving. It's always on Thursday, right? Can't we just have Christmas always on Monday or Friday?
We got to reschedule it. Trump is like doing away with daylight savings time. Maybe he could, change the day to Christmas too.
Yeah, let's send him a note, see if we can get that changed.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time, whenever that is.
Later.